viewers, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to Chat with Venki.
But listen, you've been playing since '82. You had you spoke about your influences at that time with so much metal to Megadeth and Metallica. What are
Yeah.
your influences now? Who do you listen to?
I don't listen to much music. I honestly, right now,
Okay.
or of late, since many years now, I don't listen to music at all. Uh, very less, very less, very select. First of all, I am more of the old, I like the older music still. I still find a lot of connect with the old music. That doesn't mean I'm not saying that the new music is not good. Definitely gone way above. A lot of different areas have been touched upon. But I still have that connect with the old music. I have my vinyl player. I have my Cosmic amplifier, my Cosmic speakers, those huge, you know, bookshelf speakers, which was bought in '82.
Almost
And
when you started playing.
yes, yes, around that time. In fact, before I started learning guitar, first thing I got was this amplifier and the speakers and stuff. And so I listen to only vinyls, vinyl records. I have cassettes. My I have my cassette deck as well. I listen to music on the cassette deck, and I have a CD player. So occasionally I hear CDs. Now the thing is, I listen to very select music, very something which I'm very kind of focused about what I want to hear, and I want to hear in that system. Unless until I don't hear in that audio system, I don't get the satisfaction of listening to music. And I mean it. I really mean it. So I always make it a point. I spare some time. I listen to my records on the vinyl player. But the streaming platforms today, which are there, of course, it's huge. I mean, it's humongous of to say, and so many choices and everything. So I do browse through sometimes, and it's a good platform to shortlist what you want, which vinyl you want to buy.
Hmm. Do
So
you buy vinyls now? Uh,
yes, I buy vinyls now as well. I do.
Are they available? Where do you
I know
buy
people.
these from?
I know people who sell it,
Now you
and
sound
I
like
name
some
them.
underworld dealer. Like I know
No,
people
no,
who
no, no.
sell this.
But you have to say that, no, because no, nobody knows that vinyls are available. Otherwise, you won't be asking me that are they available.
True, very true. For all the listeners, the vinyl love of Ravi is so good. You have to go and listen to his podcast, Thought Bits with Ravi Iyer, to understand his love for vinyls. He has spoken so much there.
Yeah, of course that. But then there, we had touched upon a lot of technicalities
Mhm.
because what happens is, so people just say they get enamored by vinyl, so they say okay, but then they don't understand that vinyl player is not just about going and getting a vinyl player and then playing it. It You need certain other gadgets to make it sound the way it sounds, like a phono preamp and all that. So that's what we touched upon. So that if anybody wants to go in to set up a vinyl player, at least they should not make a mistake of buying something which is half baked,
Right.
or you know it's like you're going and buying an electric guitar without an amp.
Oh, okay. Got your point. Understood.
You understand? Now you're saying that okay, I want an electric guitar. I love electric guitar. So you go and buy electric guitar, but you don't bother to buy an
Amplifier.
amplifier. It's the same thing. So that so even if you buy a 2 lakh worth of electric guitar, it's of no use if you don't have an amplifier. Simple as that.
I had the privilege of listening to a violin player when I met Mr. Narendra Kusnur.
Hmm.
He has a huge collection of vinyls.
Oh yes, yes. They have a huge collection, huge, and they are veterans in the industry as well. So
When
they
I met
know.
him, I was so jealous because he brought out a magazine of all artists,
Yeah.
and he got signatures of artists on their own image, and
Yes, yes, I
page by
know.
page I'm seeing artists. I was like, damn, I need to get into your house some night and steal this book. That's what I thought. That was the only thought that was coming to my head, because the
Yes.
legends, Eagles, Michael Jackson. uh,
No,
Naresh,
they are of course. I mean, he's like a little one generation before me, you know.
Mhm.
So and their collection is like huge, and he's a
Yeah,
very
yeah.
learned gentleman, very learned, very knowledgeable, and I mean, of course, we all look up to him. So yeah,
But
yeah,
like you said, when you say all these things about the technicality and whole setup of how you are supposed to enjoy a vinyl record,
yeah,
that shows your passion in
yeah.
vinyls. Because otherwise, you'll also feel like, okay, you can get this. It's
Correct.
that shows like, to be honest, that's what hooked me up in for you for your podcast when I started
Correct.
listening.
Yeah.
Ravi, coming
No,
back
it's
to
really happy to be on your platform as well. It's great that we connected and super.
of all the singles that I've heard of you, I have three favorites. One is Bunde, second is The Riddler,
Yeah.
and third one my favorite because I was lot into, apart from Carnatic, I love a lot of blues, and Yo Jogi
Right.
Blues was something else. When I
Yeah.
heard the name and when I heard the sound,
Yeah.
like when I heard the name Jogi Blues, I was like, okay, something, but what I heard was something else only, and I loved it.
Yeah. And it's
So
in Jograj, by the way.
yeah, it was a joke. So how do you go up with such compositions as an
Yeah, no,
instrumentalist?
I really don't know because see, the thing is, what happens is, uh, whenever I touch upon a particular rag,
Mhm.
so I don't look at the rag as an Indian classical rag, first of all. I don't look at it that way. And I don't look at it in a way that, oh, I have to do the gamak
Mhm.
or I have to slide.
Mhm.
So I don't look at it that way. But what happens is because the Indian ragas are meant to be played in a certain way,
The
in a certain
puckers,
order, puckers,
right?
exactly. Because the puckers are important. So I play around with that a lot. I play around with that a lot and then bring in my rock and blues influences with that pucker or with that essence or mood of a rag. So in that way, what I'm doing is I'm not adulterating the rag first of all. So even a pure classical musician will enjoy because I have not gone away from the chalan of the rag.
Mm.
Like whatever the chalan of the rag is, I have not gone away from that. And at the same time, I've brought in the rock and the blues influence. So that rag itself pushes me to bring that influence because the moment I started playing jog, first thing came to me. So I visualized like a jogi with a Fender Strat wrapped on a belt, going on a bullet in the market area. In fact, I was trying to do a video that way. So I was scouting who will do that. so, so I wanted someone to, with the beard and everything, with the sadhuka clothes and all that, wear the Fender Strat behind, sit on a bullet, and ride through a busy market area. You know,
You should have contacted Rahul Ram. He fits your appearance with a beard.
I have got things to do.
But in that, when you touched the flat third in joke,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
where it hit me.
yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah,
that was the high point for Jogi Blues for me.
correct. But that's what we use in our regular blues, any
No.
which ways. So any blues you do in E, with your E and G,
Hmm.
you always around that. Even for that matter, Hey Joe. You take Hey Joe, you take Purple Haze, all these are same intervals, note intervals. It's pretty similar. So that's how that Jogi Blues happened. And then, of course, we collaborated with Sai Priya for the Veena and everything. And of course, now it's become the mnemonic song for Thought Bits with Ravi Iyer.
But what about Riddler? How did Riddler come into the picture?
Oh, Riddler was done very long back. This was done during my band time only. Again, it's in three and a half, that kind of cycle. So it was done long back. I got it recorded and produced now.
Oh,
recently. We have played that in our live shows many times. We have performed that song. It has always gone because it's a lot of energy.
It's intense.
It's a very going song. So, but the most interesting is the video that I did for it now during the lockdown. What I did was I called for people to send in their imaginations. I told them to send me footages. I didn't tell them what the song is about. I didn't tell them how it goes. They had no idea. I just told them, just send me whatever, whacked out thought you have in mind that you have on your camera shot. It could be anything. It could be you in it, or maybe you're not there. You have some other things going. So a lot of them sent me a lot of footages. So it was fun for me to edit that video because I didn't know what I'm going to get, right? I had no idea what footages are going to come to me. And I had to fit them in that song, with all the footages that everybody sent me. And they had no idea what the song is about. So I can't tell you the best video I must have worked on till date, because it was so much fun, like just working in the dark, without
knowing this backside story now. It makes me more intrigued to watch that video and how where did you place what shot and what sound.
Right. So I'm coming to that. So then what happened was, as and when I started getting footages, there was a good friend of mine, his name is Abhijit. He sent me a lot of animal footages. He sent me a lot of. So now we were in the lockdown period. Animals were out and we were in. So if you see the entire video, the story goes that till the main solo happens, the percussion solos and everything, it's all about we people, whatever we are doing, craziness. But after the solo, it's only about animals. Only the animals are enjoying nature. They are enjoying everything. That there's a monkey jumping into the swimming pool.
Right.
There's a monkey jumping into the swimming pool. Tigers are roaming around outside. The parrots are out, busy having food and everything. So the whole scenario changes after the solo. So after the solo, everything is about the animal kingdom. And that's what it's about. We people have messed it up, boss. We have messed it up big time. And we don't regard animals. We don't respect animals. And look at where we are today. And we forget that we ourselves are animals. And the way we treat animals is really sad.
Completely agreed. Like the only silver lining which was there, which I read a lot when the pandemic started, was like there were sightings of dolphins in Mumbai Bay.
Yeah, exactly.
The nature was healing.
Absolutely.
The environment was healing.
Yeah.
But this, coming back, thanks you took it to the pandemic, because as a proper professional musician, you do. How does pandemic, such a scenario, has impacted your music, your livelihood, your day-to-day work?
Well, see, it has affected everybody in some way or the other. But now is the time when everybody has to sit down and think where things have gone wrong in the past. and try to undo those wrongs and try to create a space for each one of them. See, now the whole scenario's changed, Venky. It's not like before. Now, after the pandemic, the world is yours now. You can make the world and put it in your pocket, or you can just maybe sulk and perish somewhere in one corner. Anything can happen. Both can happen. So one has to be open about that. One has to understand where one stands and what is one doing to safeguard his, what can I say, his position as far as whatever he or she is doing. Now what has happened is after the pandemic, in a way things are in fact more approachable. Now nobody is depending on anybody.
No, that independency has come.
This is where the independency has come. And first of all, I have still not understood the meaning of an independent musician. We'll come to that. The next question will be mine to you.
I was coming there. You were asking me.
Anyway, let's finish this.
Okay.
So now it has completely changed. The whole scenario has changed. The world is open. Nobody is depending on anybody. If whoever wants to reach anywhere can easily reach wherever they want. Now, whether they are accepted or not accepted is a different thing.
Right.
That is up to your capability, your ability, and everything.
At this point, I'll take my chance and I'll ask you the question before you ask me. What do you mean by an independent artist?
What do you mean by independent musician or an independent artist? I've been hearing this from donkey years, and I have still not understood what is the meaning of an independent musician or an independent artist. Everybody goes indie. I can't. Please educate me. I don't know what is it.
I don't know about educating, but if you ask me as whom I consider as an indie, like my podcast, the whole agenda behind my podcast was to speak to indie artists, learn their idea, because I feel it's the unadulterated. There is no extra thing. They have their own music coming out. But when I say indie, what I mean by indie, when I approach an artist, I think people who are doing it entirely by themselves. There is no label involved. When they release a song, there is no producer coming into the picture. Okay, now not someone who is guiding it. They're not doing for some commercial purpose. They have a song, they release it. They have a song, they have a composition. That's what I consider as indie.
Okay, are you done?
Okay, no, I'm scared. Yes.
If you say so, then what about these companies who claim that they are taking charge of independent artists?
That's not independent, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So now, that's where the question. Now, just now you said that your idea is perfect. I love it. That's the way it should be. But it again goes back into the same pocket where a dada will come and say that, boss, I will promote you. And you do what I tell you to do. So where does indie go then? And then that dada is also saying that I am a promoter of independent artists. I do this only for indie artists.
I think if he's promoting till that point is fine, but the time is say you do how I tell you, this is the trend and this is how the song will grow, then it's not indie anymore.
That comes now. The next step is that. No.
That only. I agree. That's how it comes.
How will he get the money?
No, he will not. But that's there. Like recently, I heard an interview, like this going a bit out of independent artists as such, but just the freedom of composing perspective. It's going on that influence of a producer coming into the picture. It's one of the commercial movies that came in. I don't know, a couple of years ago. The great composers Ajay Atul from the Marathi scene. They did Sairat, superb music, acclaimed worldwide. Everyone loved it. Everyone heard it. People who were not Marathi, they also loved it. Even my Tamil friends were singing येड लागलं.
Right.
When they came to Bollywood, suddenly they themselves said,
Yeah.
the hero was coming in, इसमें मजा नहीं आ रहा है. The producer was like, ये लेकिन ये तो नहीं चलेगा.
Yeah.
And this guy, the composer, he's like, हाँ तो फिर हम composer नहीं होंगे. मुझे तो लगता है आपको ही करना चाहिए फिर. He said it out. The worst part was one of the biggest hit on that song was on that album track was Yed Lagla, where the whole they recorded a proper orchestra abroad, and the whole orchestra sound gave an extra dimension to the album. People absolutely loved it with the raw voice on it, top of it.
Right.
The composer themselves said that this song, when they did for Bollywood, for commercial here, they programmed it.
Right.
They did not go for live musicians.
Right.
And forget independent in this. Where is the freedom of expression of an artist? This is his composition and people have killed it.
So that's what I'm saying. See, one has to understand that Bollywood is an industry.
Right.
Okay. There are certain demands.
Hmm.
I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm not saying it's
completely
bad.
agree.
It is an industry. It has certain requirements and certain demands.
Agree.
Now, if somebody chooses to be there,
then he has to agree
to adjust to that environment. Okay. Otherwise, don't go that way. Simple as that.
Perfect. Agreed.
There is no need to go there and then whine.
Get your point.
There is no need to go there and then whine. You don't go. If you feel that you're going to whine over there, then don't go. Simple. So you maintain that respect for yourself and maintain that respect for that industry. But now what happens is, coming to indie music, like as you and I were just discussing, where indie music means what? It is about the freedom of creating whatever we want to create and we want to put forth.
Right.
But there also we need some push, no? Things don't happen on their own.
Right.
That's where I'm saying that's where if somebody is willing to push it, then these other baggages crop up slowly. And believe it or not, every indie musician's hope is to reach Bollywood someday.
True. I completely agreed.
Every independent musician. So don't bullshit.
Agreed.
Don't bullshit. Just say that, look, you want to get into Bollywood. Right now you're doing indie music because you like indie music and you're good at doing indie music also. Ultimately, you want to reach Bollywood. Simple as that. Be honest about it. And do your indie music also. Go to Bollywood also. If your indie music song gets approved for a Bollywood movie, lovely. Distribute pedas. I'll be first to have the peda.
And there are living examples. Pratik Kuhad did it.
So many. They have done it. So there is nothing wrong in that. I mean, it's good if you're doing independent. But you are independent indie music and you keep on whining about Bollywood and other things. How will it work?
True.
But in the heart of hearts, you're waiting.
Everyone is waiting. I want to get into a Dharma production movie. There should be my song.
I want to get into T-series. I want to get into so and so. I want to get into. Everybody's waiting for heart of hearts. And one call comes and they'll be jumping. They'll leave the band and go.
Agreed.
Then what happens to the band?
Nothing.
Singer and guitar player and blah blah and family, my band is my family. Where all
Divorce.
that is gone.
Divorce happens. Divorce. Yeah. And this is so evident because all the legendary things, say like one of the big guns of Bollywood, Vishal Dadlani.
Yeah.
People will say, no, I love Vishal, I love Pentagram. Ask them one another member of Pentagram. Apart from Vishal Dadlani, no one knows. Atif Aslam, everyone loves. When Adat came into Bollywood, when people got it, everyone knew Adat belonged to Jal. But only Atif came. Where are the others?
Absolutely.
And the most recent one, a band that I absolutely loved hearing, a non-Tamil, a non-Hindi band. I loved a Mallu band called Masala Coffee from Kerala.
Yeah, of course. I know Varun Sunil.
Varun,
we have No, he has played in my shows also.
Right. Suraj Santosh left the band now.
Okay. I don't know their lineup. I mean, I have not been in touch with.
But Suraj was, of course, like I like the band because of Suraj as well. His voice was good in that time. But now he's pursued into commercial. So, but these things.
No. See, I'll tell you what. See, one has to be clear. What happens is, similar thing happened with me also. When I formed the band, I was the only one who was full time. By the way, I had quit music. 5 years I quit music
Right?
after Vishama broke up. From 93, 92, 93 till 97. I was working in an ad agency as a client servicing executive. White collar job.
In my defense, I was 3 years old. I didn't know.
So I had not touched the guitar for 4 years. 5 years. I had not touched it. Not even one chord I played. So in 97, I could not take it anymore, with my job and everything. And I started back with my band. But anyways, what had happened over the years, I'm saying, it's not easy to keep a band together because like I was the only one who was full-time into music. All others are working. They were working side by side. And then they used to, manage with their work but still I was patient enough to, handle everything. And there's too much work. It's a thankless job. If you call yourself a leader of a band, then it's a thankless job when you're not even taking any cut from any show, but all the, dirty work you do, calling people, meeting people, taking checks, pitching for shows, everything upon that play, upon that compose, upon it's too much. So a lot of these things are, but then but when you have others working and doing other things, and then they are doing music at the same time, and then suddenly at some point they give up their job and they become full-time musicians, things are too late by that time because they've already caused a lot of harm in the band. One rotten apple can spoil the entire basket. So bands should first of all try to understand what choose your band members very carefully. Just because somebody, hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know. Yeah, good. Yeah, because fine, you all play together well and everything. It's not everything to form a band. You need to look into a lot of other aspects as well, in terms of what is the kind of commitment that nobody's committed. Nobody's committed now. At least those days, we all come from the band culture, where we were very committed towards the band. But now, last at least 2 decades, almost, there is no commitment for any band. So having a band is like it's impossible, except for one or two who are still going strong now. And hats off to them. That they're still going strong, which is commendable, I would say. And it's really difficult. That happens only if everybody has the same objective and priority. If your priorities are going to change within a day, then how can you expect results?
I have a theory to this because one is when you people, like we said before, there are 10 people in 50 bands. But if you will find singers a lot, you'll find guitarists a lot. There will be one bass in 5 bands, one bass guitar, and there will be one drummer in 10 bands.
Correct.
There are no bass players, there are no drummers.
Correct.
Even in today, in current Bombay, I can count good drummers, like the drummers that everyone wants to play with. There is Virendra Keth, there is Hamza Kazi. But these players, they are Mayank Sharma, they are the only ones that are there.
Yeah.
Today, if any committed musician today wants to form a band, say if I'm getting full-fledged into music, who will I approach? Right. I'll go for these people. I'll go for these bass players, and they don't have time. Maintaining band becomes more tougher.
Correct. Absolutely, that's what I'm coming to. So now it's gone, boss. I mean, the time is gone. Now you have to think completely differently and creatively as well. And it's a different lifestyle now. It's a different lifestyle totally. So obviously now that because everything is online, so then all these online concerts. See, everybody is not playing alone now.
Mm.
Everybody is playing alone, either looping or
Mm.
playing with just one more member.
Mm.
See, I feel so guilty and bad for this generation that they have not experienced an arena concert, man. The arena concert, the stage with the stacks. We have experienced that. We have gone and we have played that. Sincerely, I feel so bad for this generation that imagine that whole stack of speaker cabinets and having an arena concert. None of the new generation has, including my son. I'm feeling so bad. I mean, this is something which we as rockers would love to share, with our kids to experience it, if not play, but at least attend an
Attend.
arena concert. It's really sad. I don't know. I mean, when things are going to, change, or when will they ever get to see anything like that or experience anything like that? So what is happening is this generation will never know what is real sound.
True.
What is a stadium sound? What is a stadium concert? You know,
I
they'll
have
never know.
I have a very I my idol with after watching whom I was like, I want to play like that was Slash.
Correct.
Of course,
Correct.
because of all the style and his so of course he had his depth in his sound. I loved Slash. When Slash came to Mumbai in 2017, I went to watch him like November 2017 with
Yeah.
Miles Kennedy and the Conspirators. He came.
Right.
It was there, superb. They were performing the new songs with all the new album Apocalyptic Love they were playing.
Right.
At some point, Slash had to play Sweet Child of Mine. It's
Right.
it's the iconic.
Yeah.
The solo started. Miles is ready. After the intro riff, the crowd sang.
Yeah.
The crowd was singing in pitch. Miles
Right.
started singing, and then he was not sure whether the mic was on or not. He was checked. He said hello on stage. Tak tak he did on the mic. And then he gave up. He didn't sing the song.
Yeah.
Crowd sang the entire song in scale. They were singing the solos as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
At the moment
Yeah.
was surreal. Like I was having goosebumps for 5 minutes continuous. Just like that.
Man, I am telling you, I'm a hardcore Deep Purple fan and a Blackmore fan. Hardcore. The first time of course, I feel very sad that Blackmore still not come to India because I want to watch him live someday, because I just love that guy for his playing as well as a person that he is, the kind of ideologies that he has. So I find a lot of similarity in, the way I think as well. Anyway, so when the first time Deep Purple came to Mumbai to play, I can't tell you, we went was matlab, crazy. And they played at Andheri Sports Complex. I can't tell you, I'm getting goosebumps thinking about that show till date. It was phenomenal. And they started with Fireball.
Oh, what a way to start.
Oh, it's unbelievable. And then after that, I also attended Michael Jackson's concert.
97.
When Michael Jackson. Yeah, 97. When he had come down.
The last time he ever performed.
Yeah. Then I watched Bon Jovi as well. Bon Jovi. Then Deep Purple had come down again twice. And Joe Satriani, of course.
Joe was now 2018 he was here.
Yeah. I know. So he had played at the Bandra MMRGA grounds. Joe Satriani. He played for 3 hours at a stretch, non-stop. 3 hours. Can you beat that? No break, huh?
No break. No, these guys Slash, Steve Vai when he performed at NSM Pune, 3 hours continuous, no breaks, nothing.
Yeah.
And with Slash was jumping and headbanging, and he's doing all his stage antics. He does,
Correct.
and
Correct.
like you said, the best part about being an arena. Have you seen the Guns N' Roses Tokyo Tour concert? It's available on YouTube and everywhere also.
Yeah, I mean, I may have seen. Yeah.
So in that, what happened? I experienced it live. These
Okay.
guys, they're done with the show.
Right.
Miles have said, okay, guys, bye bye, good night, and all, namaste in Hindi, and all. He did it. Oh, everything
Right.
completed. The crowd did not move. They
Ah,
started saying, Paradise City, Paradise
ah,
City. They had to come back. They performed Paradise City, and then they went. Like
right.
that moment was wow. I
Oh,
completely agree with you. People are not interested as well, for that matter.
correct. True. True. True.
I feel sad for myself now. Because I'm unable to go to all this because no matter what, I every year I go to NH7.
Right.
Every year I go to NH7. Some of the new bands, some of this legendary artists, Vi and Satriani. I hope someday Petrucci comes, someday Malmsteen comes. I want to see him
Right.
live, see the whole guitar
Right.
swing. I want to see those things. I'm getting all nostalgic. But I just love it. And like one of the things about I was so proud. I was speaking to my last guest, Scrat, like uh,
Right.
when the year Y came in NH7, Y was performing at the
Right.
Bacardi Arena, and Scrat was
Right.
performing. Y took stage. He was there,
Right.
but the crowd did not move from Scrat's performance. I
Right.
mean,
Oh wow. That's
for
impressive.
for an indie band, that's freaking
Yeah.
Steve Vai.
Yeah.
And here this guy Sriram and Janu, they are jumping on stage with their Samurai Badass song, and the crowd is jumping with them. It was, I was like, wow. I can't believe me. I did not move to that arena vibing. He's there, just there.
Right.
I completely agree. I
Oh,
totally agree with you. Life is something else. An arena is something
yeah.
else.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Wow, what a discussion we've had. That's so. We've covered like decades from 80s, 90s,
I know.
2000s, and the current. We have covered for 4 decades.
Super. Super. Very good. Very good.
Like I have one last question for all my
Yeah.
viewers who want
Yeah.
should. I hope everyone should go and check. I'll put all the links in the description. But
Sure.
to
Sure.
be updated with upcoming content that you are working on, where one should follow you? Where would you be more active putting on stuff?
My website. My website.
Website.
See, yeah, I'll tell you. Here's another small advice for all the musicians or everyone. We fail to understand the power of the website. You know, because what happens is we always consider website as the last option,
True.
and but website is your home, boss. Website is your home, and you need to call people to your home. So all the social media and all is fine. Facebook is there, Insta is there. I mean, I am not complaining about it. All that is has got its own place, but people should follow the website. I have a mailing list. People can sign up to my mailing list. I very often send newsletters of whatever I'm coming up with, you know. But with me, what happens is I have never been in a rat race. I don't I don't come up with things just because I need to come up with something. It's a very different relation between me and my audiences. We have that respect, we have that regard for each other. I regard them, they regard me for whatever it is. I come up with content, but always come up with whatever I come up with. I definitely come up with something good. That is for sure. Something which, as you rightly said, you loved Riddler and you loved Boonde. Boonde we didn't speak about.
Oh, we didn't speak on
Boonde,
Bunde.
yeah, I mean, what I did with Casey Loy.
Hmm.
Of course, we go a long way. I know Loy since ages, and so I came up with this riff. That main riff of
Hmm.
Boonde. And then I called Loy. We met somewhere. Then I told Loy, I said, look, you want to do something together? He said, sure. He said, why not? And everything.
Just
So
like that. Okay,
then,
sure.
yeah, yeah. It's like, so then I played him this riff and he loved it. He said, like, it's damn good. And he got that very dry feeling from it and everything. Then he wrote that song, Bunde, the lyrics and the tune as well. He came and sang it to me. So this is what when I collaborate with people, I always like to give a lot of space to each other. We don't interfere in each other's uh, contributions. Like I had done another collaboration with for 786 with Gino Banks playing drums and Sheldon bass and Fazal Bhai was playing tabla. Even there, it was all very open. Everybody had their bit to be put. So I don't like to then navigate for no reason. So with Loy, it has always happened that we never changed each other's sections. Whatever he comes up with, it just comes and fits in seamlessly. Whatever I do comes and fits in seamlessly. I love working that way. Of course, small creative calls, very minute ones, one can take a little bit here and there. But otherwise, no. Otherwise, it's just seamless. Absolutely. So that's how we did Munde. We did a fantastic video also for it, together. So yeah, so I send out newsletters whenever I come up with something, whether it's my podcast
Mhm.
or a new release or a video or whatever. I send out my newsletters so people can join my. And also, I wanted to bring to your notice, I might be the probably one of the only artists who's also selling my audio in 48 by 24-bit.
Right. You recently started.
Yes, sample rate. Why I'm doing this is so that people get used to listening to a high quality audio
True.
because we are too used to listening to MP3s. So this is something where if somebody is really anal about listening on a high quality audio, they can always purchase the songs from my website, which is in the wave format. But right now it is more for uh, buyers outside because I put a PayPal link only. So it's only through PayPal. But whatever. I mean, they can always opt to
But I
buy from there.
understand
If they
where you're coming to. Listen to it in
correct.
the
So
right
it's
way it's
fine.
supposed to be.
Exact. That is the objective. The objective is not money. The
Mhm.
objective is not money. The objective is that listen to the right format,
Right.
where you enjoy that song in that quality. Whether you're hearing it on headphones or you're hearing it on a big system at home.
System.
That is the reason why I started. Of course, my songs are available on all platforms, any which ways, digital platform. But this I definitely wanted to bring to your notice also.
Yes, no, no, that's actually I find it that's the way it is supposed to be. I do
Yeah.
not I don't want to I don't like to listen but like people send me like when I started this podcast people
Yeah.
recommend me okay listen to this artist listen to that artist. I of course I listen to everything, but as
Yeah.
just from a listener perspective as a audience I look out for songs which are well made, and definitely the songs that are well made has an impact. Every note
Correct.
change impacts me. I can feel
True, true.
every sound. See, if you are serious about being a musician and as a composer, you should
Yeah.
not compromise with quality of sound. Definitely,
Correct.
any day,
True.
any day. So, I completely agree with you. A song is supposed to be heard the way it is supposed to be. You cannot
True.
compromise the quality and.
Correct.
So coming back, like your website is dead center, but I have one
Right in
last,
the
I have one last request. Could you just move a bit around so that people can see you, young you?
like this.
Yeah, this is what a decade ago.
No, yeah, almost 10 years. Yeah, 10 years. In fact, this was shot by a very good photographer in Chennai when we had gone to perform for that festival there in Chennai that happens. I forget the name of that
Uh,
festival.
that
Uh,
that one happens in Kovalam. Is that the
no,
one?
no, 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 no. This is in Chennai. Oh God, can't place it. Some Earth. It's called some Earth festival.
India.
India.
Right. Right.
Yeah. So in fact, when we went to play in India, that's when my band got picked up to perform at South Korea. So I played for a jazz festival. I headlined a jazz festival in South Korea
Wow.
that time. After that, India, because India is more like a showcase, right? I mean, everyone kind of puts in their performances as a showcase. So a lot of these organizers and promoters from all over the world, they come over there. So this was clicked there. So it was a professional click. So I mean, obviously, it's a paid. I mean, I've paid him for the royalties are with me. So I've kind of made it as my kind of trademark pick that way.
It's a amazing pick. Very very sharp pick. Crisp and
Yeah,
sharp.
yeah. So, but what I like is since it's in black and white and it's only a side profile, so it can even I can use it anytime. So it doesn't need to be with the current age or
uh,
it,
no one
it,
can know. The hair has a bit white shade as well there.
because
So you should have said it was split last week. I was there in Bandra. You
yeah,
should have said
yeah,
something.
I can still say it was just clicked yesterday.
Yeah, my son clicked. I was just sitting in the hall. Wow. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much to be a
Thank
part
you
of
so much,
my
Venky.
podcast. It was
Yeah.
amazing to talk to you and to bathe in the wisdom that you're giving. Because as a podcaster of all the bands and musicians I'm speaking to, I can see the difference in thought process. What a current musician is singing, and of course, what years of experience gives you, the change in perspective. I'm able to see it. I hope people watch this more. I hope people watch this more because that apart from just the bands and the whole coolness of the artist and the fans, for all the upcoming musicians, this is what you're supposed to think when you're going into forming a band and what your expectations should be from a song, from a band. What are your responsibilities in that matter, of course. Wow. Thank you so
See,
much. Thank you so much.
that's what I mean. Just the signing off thing, I would say. See, if everybody thinks that because of me that song is sounding good, or because of me the band is sounding good, I think this has to go because uh, ultimately what you have to see is how you are complementing and giving value to that song to uplift that song
Mm.
with others, along with others, and not just only because of you that the
You.
song is sounding. You know,
True.
so you have to be very open about it, and you have to be very candid about it, and be honest about it. And everybody has weaknesses, everybody has strengths. You know, so each one is an individual. Each one has their own identity. So one has to exploit the identity in the right way rather than in a manifesting way, that way.
Help each other grow.
Help each other grow. And I would definitely love to invite you on my podcast
I
as well.
don't know. You are very you talk about very high level stuff.
Please don't do that. Definitely, I will call you. Let me. I had a couple of them, going right now.
Mm.
Let me complete them,
Mm.
and I shall definitely come back to you. And it'll be great to have you as well.
I
On
don't know what I'm going to contribute to your podcast. To be very honest.
Don't worry. Now this time I shall send you the points.
Ayyo. ദൈവമേ. uh, but definitely, I would be more interested to see what the points you have.
Yeah, I will. I will send you something. Don't worry.
So with that, thank you so much, sir.
Yes.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you so much, Vicky. Thank you so much. And I just hope, I mean, all my best wishes to you for your podcast as well
Yes.
and all your future ventures. And God bless you.
Thank you. I have one last request for you. One last, maybe you will directly say no to my face, but
Uh-huh.
I want you to say like, share, and subscribe.
Oh, God, I never said it.
I knew it. I knew it.
I can't say it, yeah. Only now I have started writing. Please, in my post. I don't know, I could never do it. And many times earlier also in my interview, like my manager and all used to say, I'm not able to say it. I don't know. It's not because of anything else. It's just that I feel, I don't know, I feel very uncomfortable because we are not used to that.
You're you're doing the same thing. I am uncomfortable, so I ask my guests to say it.
Okay, let me try.
Okay.
So viewers, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to Chat with Venki. Beautiful channel that he started, and I love the podcast that he does, and especially catering to the music fraternity and should I say independent music or should I not?
The music fraternity is fine.
Music, which is connected to the music fraternity, and I'm sure each one of his podcasts would be very engaging, I must say. So viewers, do follow him on his YouTube channel. So please like, comment, and subscribe. Is that it?
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
The level of uncomfortableness was so visible. I think I saw a nerve pop also. Wow. Let me stop recording here.